Welcome, everyone. Lovely to be with you and to share that which we are, which we've always been, that which does not come and go, that which is not subject to time, not subject to the body, not subject to any events. So we welcome that which we are. It's an intimate welcoming, which is a deep relaxation into presence, because it is in presence that the revelation of our true self is revealed. In thoughts, in memory, it's a totally different matter. So we welcome our experience to reveal presence, that which is invisible to the senses and yet undeniable. There is nothing that you need to do in order to be. Being is and is sufficient unto itself. The fulfillment, the peace, the freedom is revealed in being, which is absolute. We make a big deal out of worldly events. We make a big deal out of the world and out of the body. which are constantly changing. In a glimpse, the 10-year-old body is 20 years old, then 50. The world one day it's at peace, and a moment later at war. One moment it's bountiful, and the next moment it's not. As we polluted and disregarded. We make a big deal out of me without really knowing what that is. Something we believe in. We believe that we are this me structure, this personal structure. We identify with our job, with our family, with our body, with our tribe. We separate ourselves. We experience fear, worry, and concern. The sense of lack. But there is freedom available to us. This human endeavor, this human journey, it has in it the key to awaken from the sense of separation, from personal worries and concerns, fear of death. But it's a key that we hesitate to use. Because it means letting go of the past, letting go of our cherished narratives, letting go of our identity. We are so habituated to holding on to things. We hold on to things that slip right out of our hands. Because there is nothing that we can truly hold on to. because there is no entity, no personal entity that can hold on to things and save them in a bag. All that is illusion. The illusion of having, of possessing, the illusion of accumulating, the illusion of being somebody. It's a habit. We believe ourselves to be somebody, a person, a son, a daughter, a body mind entity. And we overlook the key, which is this invisible presence, the reality of consciousness, the reality of awareness. We look far for that which is closer than close, that which we are. We journey in the mind, thinking, and oftentimes we're unwilling to be still and recognize that which precedes the mind, that which is free from the mind, free from the world, free from the body. Contemplation of reality is the task at hand, on hand. There is no more crucial, more important task. The contemplation of truth. And we are given many opportunities. Life, meaning the reality of life, consciousness, presents various opportunities for us to deepen our understanding. Sometimes it presents these opportunities as major changes in relationships, major changes to the health of the body, major changes to the wealth, the body aging, losing control. The great opportunities. Great opportunities. To dive right in, to dive right in. Open, available, willing, not knowing. So wonderful not to know, because the mind comes to rest in not knowing, can come to presence, the sufficiency of presence. Because presence is reality, being. Everything is revealed in presence. The consciousness is the game of presence. Love blooms in presence, expresses itself in presence. Not in thinking about yesterday and tomorrow. So you can go to the core belief that you exist in time and space. Because in your experience, time and space appear to you. You do not appear in time and space. You do not exist in time and space. Time and space exist out of you, to you, within you. Which means that you are free from time and space. You're not in time and space. You're not bound by time and space. They are empty. All is well. Always. Hi, Brian.
So my question is something like, I understand that space is grossified consciousness, and grossification means to have form. How can you help me understand how how consciousness appears as form?
Mm. Okay, so now via the body-mind organism, right? Via the biocomputer, the biocomputer is equipped, among other things, with eyes, right? And so there is perception, there is phenomenal perception via the visual cortex. So there is a depth, there is, the way the visual cortex is designed is, of course, to perceive differences, to perceive, contrasts between shadows and light and colors and depth. Think of your iPhone, like when sometimes you take a picture, you can edit it, you can edit, the aperture, you can edit the color, you can edit the vibrancy, you can edit the shadows, etc. So built in within the the ocular biocomputer system, there is the capacity to perceive. We perceive distance. So I perceive, for example, this table is here, and this wall is there, and the door is further out. There is a certain depth that is portrayed, that is sort of interpreted. The image is interpreted via many different facets, the color, the shape, the depth, the distance, etc. Now, I think your question was, how does consciousness manifest form? If that was your question, correct me.
Yes.
Yes. So first, it's important to understand what we mean by consciousness. Okay? Consciousness refers to reality. So in our experience, there is something rather than nothing. We cannot put a big X on our experience and say, okay, there's nothing. You can't. Because even when you put big X on your experience, there is still your experience with an X on it. It's still something.
Right.
Right. So there is something rather than nothing. Whatever that something is can be interpreted in many different ways, via thinking. But the fact that there is something means there is reality. There is a reality. There is something rather than nothing. There's something that's rather than nothing, which we don't know what that is, but we know that we perceive the world, we hear sounds, we feel sensations, that we know, but we don't know what that is, what the source of all of that is. Whatever that is what we refer to as consciousness, as reality. So there is a reality, there is something rather than nothing, which manifests in many different ways. Right now, it is, for example, manifesting as this conversation, right? There is this conversation. So this is a manifestation of consciousness. And if thought may appear to you, that thought is just a manifestation of consciousness. You perceive the thought. You are right now perceiving this conversation. You are witnessing this conversation, and of course you're understanding what is being shared. So there is perceiving and there is understanding. Simultaneously, you could say there is perceiving and understanding. The question is, what is creating this perceiving and this understanding? Well, there's only one candidate, which is reality. How does reality create? Obviously, it is creative because we perceive thoughts, we perceive sensations, we perceive mountains, we perceive rivers. So there is a creative aspect to reality. How does reality create? Out of its freedom. It creates because it loves to create. There's no how to it. It does so because it's its freedom to do so.
Okay. Thank you.
Consciousness is absolute freedom. We know this freedom because sometimes we feel freedom and sometimes we feel a lack of freedom, right? So sometimes we feel free and sometimes we feel less free. So whether we're feeling free or not free, we know freedom. We know the lack of freedom or the presence of freedom. So we know freedom. And how do we know freedom? We know freedom because we know consciousness. How do we know consciousness? We know consciousness because we are conscious. How do we know that we are conscious? We know we are conscious because we are consciousness, and we know we are conscious. Just innate within consciousness is the knowingness of consciousness. In other words, consciousness inherently knows it is conscious. You, meaning you, consciousness, not you, Brian, male body living in such and such a village. No. You, consciousness. You know you're conscious. You also know that the body is a male body, and you know that the name of the male body that was given by mom and dad was Brian. They liked the name Brian, so you know that too. Not only you know the world, not only you know the body, but you also know that you're conscious, meaning you know consciousness. There is no way for you to know that you are conscious if you did not know consciousness. So experientially, you know consciousness. You don't know consciousness because you went to the university or you went to your rabbi or priest or asked him and he told you what consciousness is. No. You know consciousness because you are conscious, because you have a direct experience of consciousness. You didn't go to your mom and dad and say, hey, excuse me, can you tell me if I'm conscious? No. Right? You know that inherently. So consciousness is real, meaning it does not age with the body. It does not decay with the decay of the world. It does not grow or diminish like your bank accounts can grow and diminish. No. It is that which is and cannot not be. It is that which is constant in your experience. You need to contemplate that which is constant in your experience. The thoughts that appear to you are not constant. They change. Oh, today is, oh, I'd like to eat ice cream. Oh, no, I think I'm going to call my mother. Oh, no, I think I'm going to travel to Florida. Oh, no, I think I'm just going to lie down. Oh, I'm going to read this book. Thoughts are constantly changing. Contemplate the changeless, the source, because it is there that you will find your true self, that you will find your freedom, that you will find the peace. This is where you will find the fulfillment of your life. Because your life is not about living 100 years or gathering a huge bank account and properties and a lot of people around you. All of that in a glimpse goes. There's a different purpose for you in this life, which is to come to the understanding of what we are sharing, the understanding about consciousness, to be clear about reality, not to borrow anybody else's understanding, but to get your own, to be your own, your own. Yes. Nice to meet you.
Thank you.
Any questions?
Hello, Magdi.
Hello, Jorge.
I just wanted to share how beautiful it is just listening to you, and then there's this question: how does consciousness manifest? Why and what are the processes and all of it? It's just in the background. I'm not interested in this anymore. The peace is so full. It's so much more important than all the concepts and the ideas
Yes.
of how it could be done or how it works. So I don't care. I'm not interested. But it's powerful just to trust and to.
Yes, yes. But sometimes a question arises, and so we need to address the question. Whatever question arises about consciousness, about truth, about reality, about the meaning of life, whatever, every question has its place. And we take a look at the question, we explore the question together.
Absolutely, yes, we explored and you did it beautifully, but you didn't explain how consciousness
Yes.
manifests on a mechanical, physical, person level. I mean,
there is no possible experiment that conducted to explain consciousness.
Yeah, this is what I meant. It's just so intangible.
You cannot explain with the mind. You cannot explain the source with the mind. You cannot explain the ocean with the wave. Or you cannot explain with the sound, the symphony. Right?
Yeah. But we can invite the mind to relax and to be at peace and to.
Yes. The mind comes to peace because it is entropically, it is designed for peace. You know, the activities they bubble up and then they settle, and the peace is revealed in the understanding that liberates, the liberating understanding. The understanding that ends all questions.
Beautiful.
Hello, Lynn.
Hello, Magdi. In answer to something that I brought up at our last meeting, you ended with about the oak tree coming from the seed of the acorn. And I had dropped any questions about the chicken or the egg or the acorn or the tree, but now I guess it's just a koan, right? There's no answer. Can you?
Yeah, in the metaphor, the oak tree comes from the acorn. Somehow, the acorn contains the oak tree. And then the question is, what contains the acorn? Anyway, it's a sort of a koan, yes. But it refers to form and formlessness. That all form arises out of the formless. And that the true nature of form is formless. These are the emptiness teachings in the Buddhist traditions. That form is empty, emptiness is form, and form is emptiness. This is one of the sutras that speaks to that. The name of the sutra is escaping me right now, maybe the Heart Sutra. But there is experientially, first it's important to understand that experientially, meaning in your experience right now, you perceive this perception. You perceive a form. You hear sounds, which is a form. But what is it that's hearing? A form cannot hear another form. A sound cannot hear a sound. A sound cannot perceive a perception. A thought cannot perceive another thought. What is it that perceives the thought? What is it that's perceiving this perception? It is not a thought. It is not a perception. It's not a sensation. It's not a body-mind, because that's a form. But we cannot deny perception. And this perception, which is a perceiving element, the perceiving aspect, is what we refer to as I consciousness, I awareness, the formless, invisible reality. You see, experientially, that is our experience. You see. So form, meaning the sound, appears to that which is formless. And that which is formless in relation to the form, meaning that which right now is perceiving this perception or is hearing the sound, is not standing apart from the perception or from the sound. In other words, there is a zero distance between the formless and the form. The perceived and the perceiver are one. You cannot perceive something which is distant from you, apart from the perceiver. So form appears to the formless, but it also appears as the formless. In other words, it's at zero distance from the formless, a zero distance from consciousness. Everything you perceive in complete intimacy.
Thank you so much. That was incredible. I can't wait to listen and contemplate what you said. Thank you.
Okay. Because in the Prajna Paramita Sutra, which is a Buddhist sutra, they're very clear that form is emptiness and emptiness is form, which is true. But there is a little bit more to it. There is a precedence of emptiness to form. In other words, it's important to understand that the formless does not need form. In other words, this world that we experience is not necessary. It's optional. You are optional. What a relief. What a relief. It's a relief. Imagine that you had to be as somebody. No, you don't. So consciousness is sufficient unto itself. It does not necessitate, it does not, by its very nature, require, there are no conditions, doesn't require by its very nature for me and you to have this conversation. It just chooses to do so out of its freedom. Consciousness is complete freedom. So the play of ignorance, meaning identification and the unhappiness we experience via identification, is just optional. It's just a game that consciousness is playing from itself to itself, within itself. You follow? This is why we say that ignorance is not real. And yet, the way the game is playing itself, as we all know, it's in a way important to play the game according to the rules, meaning to play the game that lead you towards understanding, that lead you to awakening from the impression of separation, not from the reality of separation, from the impression of separation, the unveiling of the self. The veiling of the self is done by the self. The veiling of consciousness is done by consciousness. And the unveiling is also done by consciousness. It's important to understand the game, because then you can play it and you can win at the baccarat. You know which number. Red 28 is the winning number.
Thank you. Thank you for the clue. Oh.
Yes.
So grateful.
Okay. Hello, Maria.
Hi, Magdi. Hello, everyone. Magdi, you often hear people talk about levels of consciousness and how certain people are more conscious than others. This is kind of confusing. Talk to me. I would like to hear what you have to say about that.
Right. So when you take a look at your experience, which is really what matters, Maria, and you ask yourself that question, what is my experience of levels of consciousness? You can, for example, remember when you were sedated in the hospital with all the treatments that you were receiving, that the body-mind was not as clear as it is right now, for example. There were various modalities being applied, various protocols to the body that were affecting maybe your capacity to perceive or to hear, or to sense, just to be sedated, right? So one could say this is a level that applies to the body. The body is sentient, meaning there are senses operating within the body. And these senses, they're not always up in volume. You know, let's say you have a dial from 0 to 10. They're not always at 10. Sometimes some senses are at 5 and other senses are at 8, and the sense of vision may be at 7, and the sense of smell may be at 9. Who knows? So that changes within the body for various reasons. It could be the aging of the body, it could be the intoxication of the body, it could be the health of the body, etc. There are many, many possible reasons. So the level of sentience, of the sensory apparatus of the body has various degrees, one could say, of functioning. A good example, like for example, if one drinks too much alcohol in one shot, then their level of sentience is altered from 2 hours ago before they got drunk, right? They perceive differently, they hear things, they imagine things, they bump into things, etc. So these are levels of the body-mind. When the body is, for example, we give anesthesia for the body, complete anesthesia for surgery, for example, then the senses are, the volume on all the senses are taken down, really down, you know, via the anesthetic, so that there can be, you won't sense the surgery. But that still applies to the body-mind, to the senses. Traditionally, we say, oh, well, this person who's under anesthesia, we say they're unconscious. But that's not how I use the term consciousness. No. You say, oh, the body, this person is less, now it's coming back to consciousness. No. That's a wrong understanding of the word consciousness, at least the way we use it. We've been using it together for many years now, Maria. By consciousness, we refer to this awareness, to this invisible awareness. There is the claim that when the senses are turned down to 0 or close to 0, meaning there is no perception, no memory, because there is no perception, right? No sensory perception, so there is no memory, that consciousness is turned off. That is a lower level of, or a level of consciousness, of awareness. But that's not the case, because awareness is non-phenomenal. It's invisible to the senses. It can perceive via the senses. But you cannot use the senses to detect awareness. Awareness can detect the world via the senses. Oh, here's a mountain. See? But you cannot use the senses to refer to awareness, because in the absence of senses, like for example, almost in deep sleep, deep sleep, the volumes are turned down, really down, of the senses. You do not disappear. Of course, you don't disappear. It's always, you remain. Not the body remains. In fact, there's been numerous near-death experiences that have demonstrated that the body can be pronounced dead, the brain dead and the heartbeat gone. And yet there is experience, there's still experience, although the body is officially dead. Now, how can I prove to you that consciousness does not depend on the body or on the mind? I cannot prove it to you because there's no proof that is possible about consciousness, but I can make some hints that can help a little bit. When you ask yourself, am I conscious? You don't go to your senses. You don't go to memory. You don't go to a thought. Or let me think about it. I'll come back to you after I think about it. You don't go to the sensation of hunger or the sensation of your body to say, yes, I'm conscious because my feet are on the ground. When you ask yourself, am I conscious? You go directly to consciousness. And you say, yeah, of course I'm conscious. It is consciousness which goes directly to itself. It turns itself onto itself. It says, yes, of course I'm conscious. Because I am consciousness. It's a snap. It doesn't require time. Are you conscious? Yes, I'm conscious. Do you know that you're conscious? Yes, I know that I'm conscious. What is it that knows that I'm conscious? Consciousness. It is consciousness which knows that it's conscious. It is consciousness which knows that it is. It does not need thinking, perceiving, sensing. Also, when you contemplate consciousness, you're contemplating the source. You're not contemplating something inside your brain. You're not contemplating something inside your body. You're purely contemplating awareness. Awareness contemplating itself. Then the mind says, awareness is aware of itself because there is a body. But without any proof. It is not that we have conducted an experiment right now and we have demonstrated that awareness is aware of itself because there is a body. No, we did not demonstrate that. We jumped to a conclusion out of the blue. And we said, oh, awareness is aware that it's aware. I'm aware that I'm aware because there is a body. Because we are starting with the assumption that everything starts with the body. We're starting with the assumption that consciousness is arising out of the body. So that is like cheating. It's no longer a real experiment. In the experiment, we don't know. We don't know that consciousness is arising out of the body. We don't know. There is no proof that consciousness is arising out of a body. We are aware that a body appears within consciousness. For example, right now, the face of Maria, this body which we call Maria, this body which we call Magdi, is right now appearing in awareness. That we know. We do not know that awareness is appearing in the body. No, our experience. I'm talking about our experience, not our la-la land beliefs. This moment, our experience is that this body-mind, this perception, the sensation of your feet on the ground is appearing within awareness. So the primary, that which is primary, is not the body-mind. That which is primary is awareness. There are levels of the body-mind. There is a 10-year-old body-mind, a 20-year-old body-mind, and the 80-year-old body-mind, which, needs a cane to walk. There are levels of conditions, various conditions of the body-mind. But there are no levels or conditions of consciousness. There is a misunderstanding about consciousness in the new age world of let's become more conscious. Let's become more conscious of what? Let's become more conscious of consciousness? Well, let's become more conscious of what? Here we are, we're having conversation. Well, let's become more conscious of what? It's no, it's a la la land thing. It's a mistaken, it's not the right direction. The correct direction is to be aware of awareness. Awareness, aware of itself. It is awareness which is aware of itself. There is an elephant in the room. The elephant in the room is not named Magdi or is not named Maria. The elephant in the room is not the body. The elephant in the room is not the world. The elephant in the room is not my family. The elephant in the room is awareness. And there is no more or less to it. Whenever we turn our attention to awareness, we find it. It may take some time in the beginning, but I'm talking to you because I know you've been for many years on the path. You understand exactly what I'm saying. Whenever you turn your attention to awareness, you find it. Do not fall in the trap of trying to increase or improve your relationship with awareness or getting a better awareness or growing in awareness. No, don't. Simply live your life as it presents itself to you. And whenever you're available, notice awareness is. It's there. It's invisible to the senses. It is that which we refer to as I awareness. That's all you need to do. Just notice awareness. It is awareness which is noticing itself. Don't have a personal agenda. No personal agenda when it comes to awareness. Because that's moving in the wrong direction. Yes, Maria?
Thank you, Magdi. Yeah.
Okay.
In the New Age world, just as you mentioned, they use levels of consciousness as kind of saying, I am more spiritually evolved, or I'm more enlightened than certain other people. And those people that are at war or killing each other, or Trump himself, his level of consciousness is really low in that kind of context.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It's important to understand that there is no personal entity. There is no personal self. We are all manifestation of the unmanifest. It is God's game. It is the universal game. There are no good people and bad people in God's kingdom. In the relative realm, there are graceful, harmonious behavior, and there are less graceful and less harmonious behavior. And we know that. And in intelligence and in wisdom, we behave according to the universal principles of harmony, love, respect, and honor for everybody equally. But we don't choose our thoughts. So it's important not to judge yourself because you don't choose your thoughts, and not to judge others because others don't choose their thoughts. You see? But your path is to come to the deepest understanding about the reality, your reality, the reality of consciousness, your reality, as this formless, genderless, eternal, universal self. And to abandon yourself to this understanding.
Yes, Magdi, thank you.
Okay. Nice
Thank you.
Yes, Holger. Let's see.
Can you say more about abandon yourself to this understanding?
Mm. Don't hold back. Don't hold on to anything. Don't hold on to anything. Anything, any thoughts, any beliefs, any ideas, any things, any people, any don't hold on anything. Love everything equally. Allow everything to be as it is. Be completely not knowing. Completely. Complete availability without knowing what it is, what you're available to, who you are. It reveals itself to you in the moment. It's always love revealing itself to you in its own way, in its own manner. It's always inviting you. You say yes. Let go of
Beautiful.
mind, let go of the past and the future. Don't accumulate knowledge. Be like a newborn. That's where birth and death meet.
Beautiful. Thank you, Magdi.
Oops. Vitse, did you have a question? Oh, one moment. Let me, hold on. Let's ask to unmute. Yes, Vitse.
Yes.
Yes. Did you have a question? I remember your hand was up.
Yeah, I have a short one.
Okay.
Depth is like a breath from the beyond, came to me.
Death is like a breath from the beyond. Yes. Yes.
And very fitting in the evening, I felt.
Yes, beautiful. Yes, thank you. Like a breath from the beyond. Yes. Yes. God's caress. Yes. Well, thank you all. Very, very lovely to be with you. I send you my love. So beautiful to see you. to be with you. Thank you. Thank you, Lord.